Pizza time.
All right, so episode 7, we're here. You can consecutively listen to one episode a day, and it'll make you a week.
Wow,
if that's what you have to do with your week,
Jesus.
if that's what you choose to do with your week, God bless you.
We're also now in person, so
Yeah, sorry
faces
if
behind our beautiful voices.
No, don't you? That's not a smudge on your screen. That is our face.
I don't know about you two. I'm beautiful.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
All right, now it's
Greatest. Boy.
I'm gonna keep doing that.
Boy.
I just actually started New Game Plus.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about it earlier, but it's funny to me because in New Game Plus you already have the Blades of Chaos, and like the big part is that you go back and like get them, so it's just like there's no point in going back. So I'm just like, why did they include?
And that's a big part too, because Kratos has to acknowledge his former life.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, now I'm using them.
Yeah. So, how have you guys' weeks been going?
It's been going well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Been doing well. Nothing big happened last weekend. We should talk about
I don't know. Last week we got the Riverdale season finale. It's pretty good.
R.I.P. to
Riverdale was with the Luke Perry.
to
Hal
Luke
Cooper?
Perry.
Yeah.
Luke Perry.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
spoiler alert.
well, it's not a spoiler alert. He
No,
died.
not for Luke Perry, for Hal Cooper. Come on.
Well, we're not.
I'm not insensitive. But yes, rest in peace to Luke Perry. You will be.
I mean, they had to do. I don't even watch the show, but they had to do something with his character. He's not alive anymore.
They haven't done anything yet.
Oh, well, I guess they'll figure
I
it
think they're
out.
waiting for the next season to write him off. He's away on travel on the TV show. So, and then they brought Molly Ringwald back, which is Archie's mom in the show, and so I think she's gonna play a bigger role in the show now. Since he's passed.
Speaking of people named Archie, did you know that they did the CBS All in the Family? Like they got a bunch of famous celebrities to recreate All in the Family.
Why would they do that now?
All in the Family was like, I know it has like those issues, but it was just like they weren't talked about on air at the time.
Yeah, but it didn't really, in my personal opinion, it didn't really help the matter. Because, so I have a professor at Drexel who we were talking about this. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, that show did break a lot of barriers, but it also made a lot of people go, yeah, I think that way too, and relate with Archie, which is kind of counterintuitive to what the show was trying to go for.
But eventually during the show, it's just like the point is like Archie kind of, he has that mindset, but in a lot of episodes he adapts to and like learns lessons from it. So I think that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know. My biggest favorite show of all time is MASH. I used to watch All in the Family all the time with my grandfather and dad. And
I had to watch for a class because us TV majors, we get to really easy classes where it's just the history of comedy television.
God, I would have loved that.
It was fun. I don't think we didn't watch MASH.
Well, MASH isn't. MASH was a comedy.
MASH was the finale. At least was one of the biggest, most viewed shows ever.
Yeah.
So I've probably watched that show probably more than a dozen times.
I think Seinfeld holds the number one in that regard, and it's like MASH and.
No, MASH is still number one. MASH's finale is still the most viewed.
Yeah, because it's Seinfeld. That's when people started kind of waiting off of television.
Still beats Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, you're never going to get the numbers that you used to. Never. But
YouTube and everything.
Yeah, and you got DVR and Netflix and Hulu and all that. But anyway,
so speaking of the big oof,
I had a pretty interesting conversation with my girlfriend Alexis the other day. We were laying down. We were about to go to bed, and I recently was on a comedy shoot for my friend Ryan. His senior project was that he did a comedy show at a local theater here in Philly, and one of my friends, Roy, is Hispanic, and he goes over to me. He goes, "Marcucci, coochie means vagina in Spanish." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was telling Lex about it, and I was sitting there, and then my 4 or 5 years of Spanish just flooded into me. And Mar means ocean. So my last name means ocean pussy. So
or sea cat.
Yeah,
Sea lion.
sea lion.
Yeah, sea lion.
There
But
you go.
Mars is also the Roman god of war.
You get to see all my
So,
faces
war
in
cat,
war
real
pussy.
time, people.
War cat, war lion, war
Yeah.
tiger.
Well, you have War Dogs with
Lot of
Jonah
cats.
Hill, and then you have the porno spinoff War Pussy. So,
Coincidence? I think not.
speaking of Jonah Hill, I just saw mid-90s. That movie was rough. Like, it was a lot of...
Jonah Hill's starting to get a little more in depth with his work too. I follow him on social media, so it seems like he's doing a couple more passion projects.
Mid 90s was bad.
Oh, no, it was good, but there was, like the kid, spoiler a bit, but the kid in that, like, he does exhibit some self-harm characteristics. Like, he strangles himself, he beats himself up.
I mean, he's acknowledged as a serious issue or no?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, as long as it's... Yeah.
Well, it's not acknowledged because it's the 90s. Like,
Well, yeah, but it's not like in some comedic light. Right?
oh no, the movie's pretty serious.
Okay, that's what I was
it's
wondering
not
about.
it's not super bad Jonah Hill.
You know.
It's very serious. It's about the skating
That's what I was
culture.
hoping. I'm just like, oh yeah, that film.
Yeah, it's about the skating culture of LA in the 90s. And this kid who he has a rough life because like his brother beats up on him. His brother is really abusive. His mom, it's alluded that she might be a prostitute. But it's never really too confirmed. And then like his only like camaraderie and friendship is with these bunch of like skating bums to just kind of hang around, and they're all really old.
I mean, that was a big thing in 80s and 90s. Was skating in LA was revolutionary.
Well, that's what I mean. And he kind of gets in with them, and they're not necessarily a good crowd. I mean, some kids are good, but like some of them like are also in shitty situations where they're like coping with drugs and alcohol and stuff, and like it gets into it. But it was good, but like I was not expecting Jonah Hill to go down the self-harm alleyway.
Yeah, considering what films he's been in.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that like the genres that you start out with doesn't necessarily mean what you want to work on.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because like look at John C. Reilly. He was in fucking Talladega Nights, and then he was in a movie called We Need to Talk About Henry, which is about a kid that grows up to be a school shooter. Well, shooting is lightly because he actually shoots them with a crossbow, but it's a rough movie to watch.
Yeah.
But and then like you have who is the guy in Tropic Thunder that played the demolitions? Danny
McBride.
Danny McBride. Yeah, I mean he's in comedies, and then he wrote the recent Halloween. He helped write the recent Halloween.
If you told me that, I wouldn't have believed.
I didn't believe it either when it was first came out that Danny
God
McBride.
damn it, McBride.
Yeah,
Well, it's not even McBride. I know him as I was like fucking Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. That's his like
Stupid.
magnum opus.
And like when he was helping writing Halloween, he was in VP, vice principal.
Yeah.
So like it can be all over the place. And then John C. Reilly was in.
So talking about magnificent passion projects that had great wholesome endings, I think that's a perfect segue into the series finale of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we're not going to really give anything too insightful that anyone else on the internet has said. So I'll give my hot take. It didn't make this season any better. It didn't at all. So spoiler, actually, we should probably put that up. If you've been living under a rock and haven't seen,
it's been a week. No, I'm not.
Well, we did that with the last one.
Yeah, but we waited a week. Okay, all right. Look, if you haven't seen the series finale of Game of Thrones, please tune away.
Yeah, and if you've been living under a rock and haven't seen people complain about it, including the actual actors in the show, complain.
Best season ever.
Yeah. Now, I love the one of Peter Dinklage, who's like, the season is the best season ever written. And it's the best writers.
It sounds like it's like if you blink twice, we'll come rescue you. That was the tone.
Yeah. They're the best writers on television. You're in for a treat. And even Kid Harington said the season finale is disappointing.
He's like, no, I'm kidding. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah, no, he wasn't kidding. It's like Mark Hamill. He was like, oh yeah, the Last Jedi is a great movie. But
Well, the difference is that Mark Hamill said that pretty enthusiastically to where you knew he was telling you shit. Like, you knew he didn't believe it. Like, you knew he hated that movie.
yeah, and
so let's put it into perspective real quick. I don't even watch Game of Thrones historically, and I have an opinion on this final episode. That's like,
yeah,
I feel like the whole opinion on this has been shoved down everybody's throat. So we're about to do it more.
So you want me to go first, or do you want to put in your sent?
Well, I was starting already, so I'll at least just conclude.
Yeah, sorry about that.
God, where do I start?
They
started a lot. They even started shit like, okay, so we'll first start talking about Khaleesi's. Yeah, there's the water bottle. I wasn't as upset with this one. We talked about that. I was more upset about the coffee cup where the water bottle was behind someone's leg and it wasn't exactly in front of them.
But it was noticeable.
I didn't notice it. But anyway, so we'll start off with the Battle of King's Landing. We had Daenerys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we didn't cover that episode yet. So we had Daenerys attack King's Landing. She beats them pretty quickly.
And then she had AirPods in. She couldn't hear the bells.
Yeah, and then goes against a lot of her writing.
No.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it.
She goes against some of her writing, where it's just like she's having this hair of being a despot or... Yeah,
out of all the things that they set up and didn't go through with, that's the one I'm not too upset about. But so she destroys King's Landing. She like by default kind of kills Cersei because the Red Keep collapses on her and Jaime.
Literally the easiest thing she could have done is just burn the Red Keep, but she wanted that chair, I guess. It doesn't make sense to me. I would have burnt the Red Keep to the ground if I was that mad, but I'm interrupting.
So the whole thing happens. Jon's like, holy shit, this is happening. Everyone's getting slaughtered. People are getting slaughtered everywhere. So you get to the end, and then, we see Cersei and Jaime die because Jaime, I guess,
she's my queen.
I guess loves her again. Or loved her.
He always loved her. I know that's also backpedaling, but I'm just like, I'll defend a couple things, but I'll agree with you mostly on some things.
Yeah, and then we get Arya. We get Arya, running around. Oh, well, first we had the battle between the Hound and the Mountain. I was okay with that.
Clegane Bowl was great.
Yeah, that was the redeeming part of that whole episode, was that encounter.
I just love that though, where he's just
I liked how the
fucking die.
Yeah, because the Mountain took a knife into the face and was okay. So like he'd even have zombie
I was watching that
traits.
and I just thought of the Austin Powers where it's just like, why won't you die?
Oh yeah, from the Spy. I think that's Spy Who Shagged Me. That
was the second one.
But so, other than that, so the entirety of King's Landing basically goes up in flames, and then this fucking shot at the end where Arya walks out. Sees the. It's a reference to
the Bible, where it's like, "Lo, I behold a pale horse.
The pale horse
name set on him was death." So it's like that symbolism was basically just like Arya was going to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, like they're painting Arya as death.
Or my thought was it was so shittily done that you thought that death already happened and the pale horse was for what already happened. But that was so shitty if Arya was in it. Arya shouldn't have been in it. It didn't make any sense.
It did not make any sense why they did it.
If the reference was for all the slaughter that just happened, it was poorly executed.
I think anyone who has any sort of biblical knowledge and understands the Book of Revelations will understand the symbolism of the pale horse.
Yeah, no, it is.
And
I understand too.
And the rider is death.
Yeah.
And so immediately people are going to be like, oh shit, that means Arya is going to bring death upon assuming Daenerys.
I guarantee you, if the writers were ever asked that question, there's like, oh no, it's for the death that already happened.
We kind of forgot.
Which is such poor symbolism.
We kind of forgot that Arya got on a horse. There was an entire album on Facebook
that you just shared.
Yeah, it was like 40 different things of them forgetting.
Yeah, we kind of forgot a lot.
Yeah. And then, so we get the next episode. We got, so Daenerys is doing her...
Let's wrap this up as much as we can, but have 5 minutes of Peter Dinklage walking.
Yeah. Well, so the next episode, we have Daenerys doing her Mussolini impression.
It really was. You could see it. It wasn't Hitler. Like, Mussolini was also one of those guys in, like, history speeches that was, like, very jovial. Oh, God. Yeah, and he's, like, very...
If you're listening, I just did a Mussolini arm fold.
But now you can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, and live in Technicolor.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, so... And then, you know, she arrests Tyrion, because Tyrion basically says, fuck your...
Tyrion did have, like, the best way of quitting. He's like, yeah, and you murdered an entire town. And it's just like, eh.
Well, on top of that, Tyrion, first time he uses his dwarfism to his advantage, he gets into the Red Keep by climbing through a crack that was from all the rubble, finds Jaime and Cersei in each other's arms. He breaks down because he realizes he's the last Lannister. I guess he would be the last Lannister, right? Unless there's some at Castle Rock.
The worst thing I saw on Reddit that made me laugh was, ladies and gentlemen, the tallest Lannister, and it was just
Christ.
Like, it's something I don't want to laugh at.
Yeah, and so he then goes to Daenerys, who's giving her Mussolini speech. He's kind of like, fuck your, you know, war and fuck everything. I quit. So she arrests him. He's basically been told that he's going to be executed and stuff. And then you still got Grey Worm there. That's like her commandant the entire time doing it.
Yeah, it really is.
And then, so Jon comes in, confides with Tyrion. Tyrion's like, oh, you know she's a monster. Come on, you fought monsters and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Jon's like, oh, yeah, I still have something to do with this story because you already killed my main enemy.
She's my queen.
She's my fucking queen. So, yeah, so Jon basically makes a decision. Daenerys, after her doing her Mussolini impression, says, hey, I can do an impression of Hayden Christensen from Revenge of the Sith.
I'm still waiting on that edit. I'm still waiting on that edit.
When she was talking to him, she's like, me and you, we can rule the kingdoms together, just the way we want them to be.
Me and Mike were watching it together, and I was literally like punching my leg because it was like, this is too goddamn funny. This is supposed to be like such a beautiful scene. Or not beautiful.
You and me can rule the galaxy together.
That was literally what happened. I will show you an excerpt that is literally
I don't want to rule it that way, Anakin.
Yeah, like they were talking to each other. And then we were watching with a few people, and I looked over to Munchie, and I was just like, this is like Revenge of the Sith. And she's like, we can rule the kingdoms together.
So hard.
We can rule the kingdoms together, make them the way we want them to be. And I was like,
together we could rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
Sounds like angsty Anakin.
Your new empire.
I thought Ewan McGregor was going to jump from the rafters and just...
Well, that's what Drogon was. Drogon comes down and was like...
Hello there.
Liar.
Put her down, Anakin.
You're with him. You brought him here to kill me. Anyway. So, yeah.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy. All right.
Jon,
we could go over the Battle of Mustafar for a whole episode and just, like... go over it.
I can quote the majority of Revenge of the Sith just because of the fucking memes from it.
Absolutely.
That's another thing. So just as kind of a sidetrack, I'm graduating in 20 days. So like, I'm thinking of things to put on my cap. And like Lex was like, I was like, I got to do something about like, I have to do something Star Wars. Like it's my series.
Can you just have a picture of Anakin in Clone Wars? It just be like, I don't think the system works.
You should say I have the high degree now. Or just put the
I was gonna put now I'm in a lot of big bomb bad debt.
Misa graduate.
You put Jar Jar on
Oh,
your
we are
grad
big
cap.
doo-doo now. Big bomb bad doo-doo.
You put Jar Jar on your grad cap.
I'm George Lucas, and I did not put any racial stereotypes in Phantom Menace. They were all coincidental. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Look,
Fucked up.
look. You can think about it anyway, but there were a lot of racial
All right.
stereotypes. In
I
the
know,
movie.
but we're segueing hard.
Yeah. Anyway, so John kills Daenerys. Shocker. Drogon comes in.
And runs away with
Huge.
Jon's knife.
Huge symbolic moment.
Yeah, apparently
Of Drogon.
Drogon took, symbolic.
Yeah, Drogon's over here taking the red pill.
Well, it's not even the red pill. Just Drogon apparently went to college and took some introspective philosophy.
Yeah, and then so he burns the Iron Throne, makes it melt, takes Daenerys, flies away.
With Jon's knife.
Yeah, or whatever. We were
I
all
still
hoping.
love that. We're just like, motherfucker took my knife.
We were all hoping that we were going to see Drogon. I just hit my mic. We'll see Drogon burn Jon, like confirming that he's a Targaryen.
And Jon's like buck ass naked.
Yeah, whatever. We've seen Kit Harington's ass before.
Yeah.
So and
They didn't even do that.
nope. So
Well, the
then
best
it's
meme
like,
was when. I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
What was the meme where Maester Aemon was burned at the pyre because he died, and because he was a Targaryen. The joke was that he would just be lying there dead and naked.
Yeah. So we get like, okay, it's a week later, I guess. 'Cause
No,
Tyrion's
it was like 5 weeks.
whatever. So it's 5 weeks later. They're all sitting around, like all the lords and queens and whatever. Or
Wait,
lords
what
and
about the
lord.
Lord of the Vale, the King of the Vale?
Was he the one that was like, I should be king?
No, it's the breast milk kid.
Oh yeah, he's all mature.
Dude,
and
that was a
puberty now.
glow up. Holy
That's what happens
shit.
when you suck on breast milk for 12 years of your life.
Yeah, that's the symbolism I got from this season. Breast milk apparently helps.
It taught them that it was okay.
Yeah.
But so they're all there. They're all deciding what to do with Tyrion and Jon. Now that Daenerys is dead, so there's now no longer someone on the Iron Throne that no longer exists. So they're all like, well, why don't we choose a king? And they basically become a republic.
I will say this, though. People are shitting at the fact that they made the joke about being a democracy. I thought
Yeah,
that
Samuel
was
Tarly
hilarious.
is like...
Because Sam's like, why don't we let the people choose? And everybody's just like,
I'll ask
dying.
my horse.
I'll ask my horse.
Yeah, so that was funny, I guess.
I thought it was great.
But they essentially become a republic, and they're all like throwing their hats into the ring. Sansa declares independence and wants to stay in the north, away from the now six kingdoms. And they're like, out of everyone here, the person that... Well, this is Peter Dinklage, by the way, who is now speaking, even though he
has no
the
right
prisoner.
to speak.
Yeah. He's like, well, there's one person here that has a better story than all of us and deserves the throne more than all of us.
Ghost.
Bran Stark.
Bran
You
the
literally
Broken.
said-
Stark.
Yes.
Bran Stark. Bran the Broken. And I've now learned that was his nickname.
It was in the books, too. Well, they don't fucking care about acknowledgement of the books. So I don't know why I say, oh, it's in the books. It's just like, yeah.
You know how Doctor Strange said in Avengers Endgame that if I told you what the future would be, it might not happen?
Yeah.
That's my take on Bran being the king. It happens to fit in with his character development because when you think about it, if he would say anything, it wouldn't make any sense.
It doesn't, though, because
It doesn't, 'cause it was so rushed so bad.
Well, the entirety of the
he would change
ever
his mind
since he
like that.
ever since he became the Three-Eyed Raven, he's
That,
like,
this all-seeing deity god.
yeah. Ever since he's became this Three-Eyed Raven,
You know what it's a good analogy for? Bran is basically a watcher in like the Marvel universe.
Mm.
That's actually a good description of what Bran has his powers of now.
Okay. But still,
Yeah,
He's the king.
I just had that.
And he knew, the motherfucker knew it was going to happen. There was nothing he could either do about it or, within his character. If you said he was a seeker or a seer, whatever, like he obviously hasn't been saying anything.
Well, no, it goes against.
It was just rushed so bad that it wasn't even shown that he wouldn't be saying anything.
It was going against his character because the entirety of ever since he became the Three-Eyed Raven, people that refer to him as Brandon Stark. He's like, I'm not Brandon Stark. I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. I do not care about these petty rivalries among the kingdoms. Do not care. I am Bran Stark. I mean nothing. I am neutral. Well, whatever. And then Tyrion's like, let's make Bran the king. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, make Bran. And Bran's like, well, I am Brandon Stark. Okay, he's now confirming that he is now Brandon Stark again. And is like, wants to be part of the petty squabbles of the Six Kingdoms. It didn't make sense.
This is my opinion. I would be fine with the ending. I would have been completely fine with the final series finale if they added at least 5 more episodes to explain why this ending happened.
Yeah.
They needed 5 more. They needed at least 5 more. They had a contract for 10 for somehow they refused it because of the contract and filming and all that bullshit, but they should have had at least 10 episodes. I would have at least argued another season.
Yeah. Yeah, they needed more time to,
or not at least argued. I said at most that they should have had another season.
Yeah. I think we can sum up the series finale, which is 10 seconds of silence for an F for what was a great series and then fell into a pit because they wanted to rush the
collectional pit of The Sopranos, Dexter, Lost,
Breaking Bad,
which is
Breaking Bad had a good
better
ending.
show.
Well, I thought Breaking Bad had a good ending.
No, Breaking Bad did. I thought we were saying like historically great shows.
No, historically great shows that had bad endings. So Lost, Sopranos, Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing one.
Big Bang Theory.
I didn't see it.
Dexter.
Oh, it was bad.
Dexter had a horrible one.
It was so stupid.
Brianna's confirming that it was bad.
It was like, it could have been better.
Yeah.
It was just like Sheldon was finally giving everybody credit at his Nobel Prize speech. Like he was just giving people credit.
I would like to see like a flash forward, because they had Penny pregnant. I don't know.
Exactly. That they never elaborated on it yet, so I was just like, all right, cool.
The Big Bang Theory Twitter posted a photo of young Sheldon, and like they had white text over it, and I was like, this is not the end. This is only the beginning. And it's like, what are you doing?
It's like some villainous.
It's like this was only phase 1 of the Big Bang Theory multiverse or the cinematic universe.
Teenage Penny, the next TV show.
Yeah. But do you have any final takes here, Bungie or Sisto?
On Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would have completely fine with the ending. I would have completely fine with the ending if they explained it. There's parts of season 8 I liked. I truly did, and you guys heard my opinion on it. But I would have been, like I said, I would have settled for 4 more episodes. 4 more episodes of dealing with Cersei.
I think
Dany's
it needed a new season. I think it needed another season.
I know, but it wouldn't have happened. But four extra episodes was a very real possibility that should have happened, and it didn't. That's what I'm pissed about. I'm actually pissed that they didn't get the more episodes because they were greedy.
HBO is actually worried because they're losing a lot of subscriptions.
Well, yeah, I dropped mine. Who would keep it right now?
I would be worried too. My last take on that is, thank God I didn't pour hundreds of hours into this series.
If you watched up to the last season, you would have been okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have had the satisfaction of getting a good ending.
I would have said this too, and just like, thank God I didn't put hundreds of hours. And I was just like, yeah, but people did. I did. I'm still. Yeah. I don't regret hundreds of hours of that at all because I loved the show up until this season, and I would actually still rewatch the season if I wanted to. I would rewatch the series, just cut off after 7.
I was thinking of rewatching Breaking Bad just to kind of refresh. Or The Office.
Watch MASH.
But anyway.
Get into the MASH cinematic universe.
Christ.
All right, so
we're gonna move on. I think it's time.
Move on to Marcucci's fun in the summer fling horror flicks.
Yeah, let's put this Game of
That's
Thrones
not the actual title.
To bed.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial, official beginning of the summer season. Especially here in Jersey, where we're only about 50 miles away from the shore.
75 and change.
75 away from
about $1.50.
The shore. So we're right in between Philly and the shore. So we still experience the Jersey Shore life, not what we had on MTV, but
a different variation.
Legitimate like boardwalk. Like we've all had childhood memories down at the Jersey Shore. But anyway, on top of the summer, we also have some good horror movies to watch while we're all gathered around after a good day at the beach. You want to sit down, you want to watch something spooky? Well, I'm here as your official horror aficionado of the podcast, since you guys don't really care.
So it's Army of Darkness you're suggesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. No, I actually didn't suggest Army of Darkness. But I have 5 movies that work pretty well with watching during the summer. First, I will give a prefix here.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Or no, because I don't want to interrupt, but I'd rather guess because I know which one you're going to say.
What?
How many Jason movies are in your top
1?
5? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't want to do more than one series.
All right.
But, so, initially, people are going to think of movies that are automatically just put in the summer category, like Friday the 13th, and one in particular called Sleepaway Camp, which came out right around the first Friday the 13th, and it's got a huge cult following. And I watched it today actually for the first time, and it's given a lot of credit because there's just a twist ending at the end because it's a whodunit type of horror movie.
Okay.
And it's very in the style of Friday the 13th. I'm not sure which one came out first because I don't know if you guys have seen the first Friday the 13th. The first Friday the 13th is a lot different than what came after.
No, one of the bits I've seen, I was just like, nah.
The first one's like a cliffhanger, isn't it?
To a degree, yeah. The first one isn't Jason. It's Pamela, who is his mom, and it's her killing everyone in the camp, basically. And then it's revealed at the end, she was like, "Did you know my son Jason died here? He died because counselors were off having sex in premarital relations." And
the highlight of these movies are always that's just like kids having fun is bad. So there's been papers.
Yeah.
Well, there's been papers written about how horror movies kind of represent like, kind of like the religious ingraining into American society of how like these sinful acts will end up in punishment type of thing. Yeah. Because a lot of horror movies have that trope. Like the kids are off smoking weed, drinking, having sex. And there's the Scream. The first Scream does really well where they're like, they talk about the horror movie tropes. Like the final girl, quote unquote, which was kind of originated in, I think, of Friday the 13th it might have been Texas Chainsaw that started the whole final girl trope. But the final girl has to be pure, cannot have sex, blah, 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 blah. And that's what, the Friday movies are about. But so in Sleepaway Camp, they have the surprise twist ending where it's of these 2 kids coming to this camp. The one girl is a survivor of a boating accident from when she was little. Some teenagers weren't paying attention, run the boat over them. It's her with her dad and her brother. They get run over, whatever. And then people start getting murdered in camp because the girl that's there, she is being bullied and stuff. And the cousin that she's with, like, it keeps defending her, and he's kind of like assumed to be the murderer. And so like typical teen movie, like there's romance, there's like premarital sex, stuff, blah 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 blah. It's an 80s movie. It's so 80s, it's not even funny. Like they're even saying "gee golly," like it's not.
Oh boy.
So we come to the end after all these murders and shit, and so I believe personally that this movie didn't hold up too well, mostly with how the ending is.
As most movies from the 80s do.
So the ending, it's revealed that the sister that survived the initial crash was actually the brother. And the brother was raised from that point by her aunt, or his aunt, to be a girl. And that fucked him up mentally to the point that he became a psychopath. And the final shot is of, so when you assume that she was still the girl, she had a romance with another one of the campers there. And so they kind of go off because she's like, let's go skinny dipping. And the guy's like, oh, right, finally getting in with her. Yeah. And then they reveal that she chopped off his head. And the counselors come over and go, and they just see her there, which is actually a pretty frightening shot because she has her mouth all the way open, kind of like growling at him. But like it pans out and they're like, oh no, she's a boy. And it shows her penis. So like it doesn't age well because it can be kind of transphobic in a way.
Yeah, it's very, but
yeah. But it's 80s.
There's another topic I've always wanted to talk about about movies that didn't age well.
Oh yeah. And like there's a whole lot of homoeroticism in that movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of homoeroticism in that movie.
Oh, come on. The dialogue in that movie did not age well.
Yeah.
The action shots were phenomenal. They make that movie worth watching, but the dialogue is cringy, to say the least.
So anyway, let me get to my list.
Remember that?
Let me get to my list here.
Yes, go ahead.
So I have 5 here that I personally love. And so at number 5, I have It Follows. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that movie.
Which installment is that like the part of that It?
No, it's not.
No.
So It Follows is about a ghost that's transferred via sex.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
it's basically an STD ghost. And anyway, so once you have sex with the person that's like the host.
I don't want to say this. I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
ST Danny Phantom.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's an STD ghost so once you have sex with someone that's already cursed, it gets transferred to the person you had sex with, and the ghost will keep following you until it kills you. And it's rumored that it fucks you to death, but that's another thing. But so the movie, it's in like a more tropical area of the United States. Like it's kind of summer-esque because they're kind of chilling at the beach and stuff. And they're still in school, so I would say probably it's like in late June. So it's like, just about to wrap up school. And like the main character, she's constantly being followed by this ghost. It's really well done because I'm a huge fan of more suspense rather than shock horror.
Yeah.
That a lot of horror movies now kind of fall to, because it's really easy to make someone jump. It's not that hard. You set up a 5-minute suspenseful scene, and then you kind of climax it with this jump scare that everyone was already assuming that it was about to happen. I personally don't like that. As me being a horror fan, I think it's cheap, and I think it gets old really quickly. Like, for example, The Nun. The Nun movie that just came out was filled with it.
That had a lot of potential.
I hated it. I hated that movie. But anyway, so that it's a good suspenseful movie to watch with your friends, and it's personally one of my favorites. Number 4, I have a classic, one of the first movies to consider a blockbuster, Jaws.
That's a horror movie?
Yeah.
I'd say it's more of a thriller.
For its time, it was a horror movie. Yeah, when it first came out, it legitimately, like, shore towns have, like, they noticed a decrease in, like, tourism and stuff. And since, like, I thought it was fitting because we do live, and we've experienced the Jersey Shore, and that's obviously a big shore town, a big staple in New Jersey. And although I think Jaws takes place in upper
Connecticut,
Connecticut?
around Connecticut area.
So it's not necessarily Jersey, but it's still type of that kind of feel. And so it did have its effects here with the way that it did. And Jaws is, is the summer movie because, got to stay out of the water, and you have all those cool summer events that they have over the summer where they'll screen it on the beach while people are chilling in the water. I've always wanted to do that. I don't know if I can because I'm a bitch.
Correction, Long Island, New York.
Long Island. Well, it's closer then, in a degree. But anyway, sorry, I'm drinking water during. It's not a.
Yeah, who cares?
Is it in frames though? Because that might be a problem.
No, we're fine.
Good one.
So Jaws is the really standard summer horror movie.
I do love Jaws.
I'm not gonna lie, I peeked over at your list, and I was actually hoping that you would put this one movie in there. So, Strangers.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. I was actually really happy you put that in there because I actually enjoyed that movie.
Strangers?
Yeah.
Strangers.
Never heard of that one.
Oh, it's good.
It is really good.
It's good. Anyway, so Jaws is kind of, everyone knows who Jaws is. Everyone's probably seen it at least once.
It's the one with the shark if you haven't fucking seen it. But,
that blows up like 3 times and keeps coming back.
Yeah, not that one. The other one with the shark.
But so my number 3 on the list is
Sharknado?
Deep Blue.
And my number 3 on the list is something that personally still freaks me out whenever I watch it. Is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh no,
I've never seen.
I've seen
the first one.
I saw the remake when I was very.
The remake
young.
sucks. Don't watch the remake.
I saw
the remake has
when I was
nothing
very
to do
young,
with
and
it.
I can't do horror, and it's probably because I watched horror when I was really young.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. I was so terrified of the movies that I was like fascinated by it.
No,
but so the first Texas Chainsaw, it really brings into your road tripping with your friends. You break down out in the middle of nowhere. You just go up to the house, they asking for help. You go inside, and you just happen to stumble upon a cannibalistic family that would be more than willing to have you as their next meal. And that's exactly what the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
The first one is good. There's actually been a lot of scholarly essays about the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it really discusses like the decline of rural America in like the 70s and like the impact of Vietnam and like the youth of the time and stuff. And kind of like urbanization and stuff like that. But like the first Texas Chainsaw is really well done. I mean, you would assume the movie about chainsaws and stuff is overly gory. The other ones have been. The first one has very little gore at all. There's a lot more suspenseful in it. The sound of a whirling chainsaw still freaks me out to this day. That's one of the scariest noises I could possibly think of. My opinion.
I mean, I've always been scared of a chainsaw when I've used it because, for regular reasons, but normal chainsaw fearing fears. But
yeah,
I might lose a limb, but not to a horror suspense.
Yeah, and Leatherface is always a good antagonist. He's the guy that wears the mask in the movie.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Is he the patriarch?
No, he's not. He's actually slow. He's mentally handicapped, and he's basically told by his family, "Go kill them." Like he's kind of their slave of the sorts. And that's another thing. It discusses the movie obviously doesn't go too deep into it because it's still a horror movie.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure they changed his name in every movie, but I think his name is Bubba in this one. But he's treated poorly. He's kind of a tainted soul that is told to be evil.
Yeah. Because
in the second one, they gave him the second Chainsaw Massacre. They kind of give him a little bit more humanity in it. Because the final girl in that one kind of reaches out to him and is like, it's okay, and try to give some love, and he actually tries to protect her from the rest of the family because she's being nice to him.
Yeah.
So it gets sad, but the first Texas Chainsaw, I think it's really great for a good summer movie because it kind of brings in that fear of being out in the middle of nowhere. That actually brings up the next
summer
one.
Movie by avoiding for you to go out during the summer.
Yeah, don't go to Texas. Sorry. But my number
What's
2...
so bad about them old Texans?
That one fan in Texas just unsubscribed.
Yeah. So,
right.
My second one is a real big personal favorite of mine. Is The Strangers with Liv Tyler.
I'd say this is my personal favorite horror movie.
Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you.
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler
Steven
was
Tyler's daughter.
she was in Lord of the Rings
Armageddon.
and Armageddon too. Yeah, if you really want to talk about that movie.
You know what the thing is though? That was really bad. I would have when you say Liv Tyler and he's like, oh yeah, Steven Tyler's daughter. I immediately think of Armageddon.
You don't think
And
of
I'm
Lord of the
a
Rings?
diehard Lord of the Rings person. I honestly go to Armageddon first.
God. So anyway, The Strangers.
Michael
It's
Clarke
about
Duncan, man.
It's about Liv Tyler and her boyfriend go to their cabin, a family member's cabin, in the middle of the woods after a wedding. In the movie, they're kind of on their relationship's been frayed a bit because he asked her to marry her right before they got there, and he set up the entire house and expecting her to say yes. She says no. There's flower petals everywhere. There's wine. Blah 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 blah. So anyway, that's the setup. They're kind of at frayed, and they eventually make up. They actually start having sex, and then they hear at the door. Right, it's so good. They open the door, and it's a girl. They can't see because the light bulb of the outside light bulb is out. And she goes, "Is
Tamara home?
Is Tara home or Tamara?
Tamara.
Tamara home?"
It's Tamara home. Oh.
Says no, that no one here no one that lives here has that name. She goes, "See you later."
Okay.
She walks away.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then they have sex. They, and then whatever. And this movie has one of the best suspenseful moments, in my personal opinion. So Liv Tyler's boyfriend goes out to go get cigarettes or something, right? So Liv Tyler is just wandering around the house. She's got nothing to do because they're in the middle of the woods. They're in a cabin in the middle of the woods. She's playing on the piano, blah, 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 walks in. And during, I don't know if this was before or after this, but so she's standing in there. She walks. So the parlor is right, like connected with the kitchen. And then there's a room in the back right corner that's right near the front door. So she's just kind of wandering around, and in the background, you see a guy with a bag over his head with a smiley face, just merge out in the shadows. Just watch her, and then she the whole time he's getting closer and closer to her, and then it's such a good suspenseful scene. Like just watching this guy just slowly just start walking towards her, and then she turns around, he's gone, like he disappeared, and then the girl knocks on the door again. Hey, is Tamara home? Like. And then she hopefully find out that there's 3 people invading their house, and they try to snuff them out and stuff. And it's a great movie for the feeling of isolation for you going out camping or at a cabin with your friends. And
again, the message that Mike is trying to do with his movie picks is don't go out during the summer. That's the vibe I'm getting right now.
Really good though.
Yeah. We should watch it, to be honest.
I'm not. No,
we watched the first time I watched this, and I think the only time was a sleepover at my house years ago. You brought this movie over.
Did I?
Yes. We watched this together as friends in my living room in a sleepover back in early ages of high school. And I said, this is the last time I'm having a sleepover because that movie fucked me up, but it was so good.
I do respect the fact that people can watch horror movies and love them.
I love them.
I mean, we've done it plenty of times.
It's just so difficult for
I
me.
made Sister and Brianna sit through Hereditary.
I mean,
Terrible.
it's just something
Terribly
I can't.
good.
Poor Brianna. I had to cover her eyes for the whole last 10 minutes of that movie. It was a shame. She was getting into that movie until the very end.
I'll watch comedic horror movies that are so bad they're comedic.
The little girl.
Their head.
Oh yeah.
That part.
Still one of my favorite shots in all horror movies is when they go underneath the attic, and then you see the mom just going on the door. It's pretty good. Anyway, we're not talking about Hereditary. I'll talk about that around Halloween. But yeah, The Strangers really gives you that the feeling of isolation and going out and hopelessness of just you going out to a cabin with your friends or with your significant other, and then there's no way.
You know what? I'm gonna do another piece of advice. Go outside, have fun. Go to that cabin in the woods.
Bring your cell phone.
Go fishing.
Don't answer the door.
She brought her cell phone, right? And the guy that with the bag over his head took the battery out and threw it into the fireplace.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
If it pops, that's a lot of acid.
He doesn't give a shit. He's there to kill her.
That's a fire hazard.
But anyway, movie's awesome.
The ending, right before the end credit scene of that movie, you just find out like.
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but it's not a good ending. Well,
it was a good ending.
Well,
Does Luke find his dad?
What?
Nothing.
Anyway, so my number one is a series that I personally have a little. I've loved. You know, you can shit on it all you want.
Can I guess?
Because it deserves to be shit on. What?
Airbud?
Yes. Actually, it's Grown Ups too.
The Grown Up saga.
Don't pee in the pool.
Yeah, so just a reminder that Adam Sandler had a deer pee on him in the first 4 minutes of.
Yeah, it literally was like a solid minute of just.
Oh yeah.
All right, your number one.
So my number one is Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives.
We watched that together, didn't we?
We did.
The one with the fire. No, I loved that one.
Yeah. So this movie, a lot of the Friday movies, they all take place during the summer, to be completely honest with you. So they all can be watched during the summer. But this movie, I put in my number one for the reason that this movie is really self-aware for what it is. Like, you have people talking to the camera. You have there's editing jokes that they do. Like that movie, they acknowledge they know where they're at now because in this movie. So in part 4 of Friday the 13th, they officially tried to kill off Jason, which is actually another one of my favorites. It's my second favorite Friday movie because it actually has Corey Feldman in it from Goonies and among other movies. And it also has the guy that plays Doris McFly. He's in it as well.
Yeah.
He actually gets a corkscrew stabbed into his hand and then a cleaver in his face. It's pretty good. Anyway. And the reason I love it, so Jason actually dies in that movie. Spoiler, the movie's almost 40 years old. But Jason dies in the movie. Corey Feldman kills him. And they wanted to phase out Jason and bring in Corey Feldman's character, whose name is, oh God, what's his name? Oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Just say Corey Feldman's character.
Corey Feldman's character, because that's the only character that's been in multiple Friday the 13th movies, other than the first final girl in the first Friday movie. She gets killed off in the second one pretty quickly. Tommy Jarvis, that's his name. So they wanted to bring Tommy Jarvis in as the new Jason because he gets fucked up because watching his this family gets massacred or whatever. But I like and then in Jason Lives, there's the movie in between is Tommy Jarvis at a halfway house, and there's a copycat killer that's trying to be Jason, comes in, kills a bunch of people. It's revealed that it's not Jason, blah, 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 blah. So in Jason Live, it starts out with Jason is dead, has been dead for like 10 years. He's just like decomposed. And he comes back to life through lightning. Frankenstein.
He literally gets he's just like, yeah, fuck you, and he stabs a rod into his corpse.
Well, yeah, because oh my God, I forgot his name again. Tommy Jarvis. He kind of freaks out and is like, die, you bitch, die, and it's like he taking out all of his anger from years of, and all the fear that he's had throughout his life.
And then Zeus was just like, no.
Yeah, so he gets out of the grave for 2 seconds, and then during it, there's like a thunderstorm's rolling in and strikes the rod, brings Jason back to life. So they know in that entire movie, they know what they've done. Like they're kind of jumping the shark now, the metaphorical shark, and it becomes really self-aware. Like they say, they make editing. They make editing jokes, like they'll start out some sentences and end it with a joke by smash cutting it with another scene. And like the one in particular is like the groundskeeper at the graveyard. He finds the unburied corpse of Jason. Notice that no one's in it. He's like, oh, these damn kids. What do they think I am? Some fart head? And then it smash cuts into kids all standing around going, yes!
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's great. And then that the same character also talks to the camera. So it's funny. It's a really self-aware movie. And another reason I put this on the top is that movie is the only time Crystal Lake has kids at the camp out of all the series. So like that kind of brings more into the summer going away to camp type of thing. Like
go to camp,
summer
have
movie.
fun, kids.
Yeah, if you see a guy in a hockey mask,
Run.
that's also
Give him a
another thing.
hug.
They acknowledge the horror movie trope of someone with a mask. Like there are two camp counselors coming in their car,
God, yeah.
and they stop, and she's like, "I think we should turn around." The guy's like, "Why?" She goes, "I've seen plenty of horror movies that if I see a guy in a mask in the middle of the woods, I know to turn around." Spoiler: they don't turn around and they die. But yeah, it's great. It's a favorite of mine, and that is my top 10 summer horror movie picks.
I thought it was 5.
5 movies.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So just to move on, just something I wanted to do.
So moving from horror in the movies to
God.
horror for esports. That's right, I went there.
Ooh.
So
He went there.
I went there.
He went there.
I went there.
You went there.
Speaking of going there, Tfue, the ever so famous Fortnite streamer, is trying to get out of his Faze Clan contract. And this has been really big news lately. I
They
don't
have
know if you-
contracts?
They do. They're called gamer agreements. At least at Faze. they
Gamer
are.
agreements.
At least they are. Well, yeah. Well, when you're with a team, or in their case, a stable, I guess, for any like specific performance, like he's an extension of that brand.
Yeah.
So they have him a contract. Are you familiar with anything that's been going on with that lately?
I'm familiar with Faze, but I'm not familiar with Tfue.
And that
Wait,
Phase is the only
no.
one I'm familiar
All right.
with.
So I guess I'm gonna take this one.
Sister.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me. So, for those of you who might not know a little bit more of what has been going on with this situation, basically, about around last year, Tfue sent Faze, a notice that like he wasn't happy with his contract, and for when Fortnite became popular around this time, about 2 years ago, it was like different for esports because usually esports was like team based. It was very team-based combat and games. So any contract with an esports team was marketed so. It was built as such. And Tfue's contract was about the same. It was clearly written like it was out of date. And FaZe acknowledges that they've made multiple attempts under new management to reconstruct his contract with more benefits towards Tfue that are more individualized as is streaming, And just to give you a gist of his old contract, they held the right to take 80% of all third-party endorsements that FaZe brought to him. So
Wow.
FaZe, for example, they have a
owned him.
partnership with SteelSeries.
Yeah.
The peripheral company. So if they were to bring that to Tfue, they would get 80% revenue and 20% would go to Tfue. However, Tfue wanted to bring in HyperX as his sponsor. They held the right to say no because if Tfue were to bring a third party market with him, it would be 50-50 split down the middle. And you could see why their right to veto had been taken. Because clearly, why as a company would you want 50-50 over 80-20
Yeah.
in a simple endorsement deal? So that's one thing that Tfue was mad about. And if you look at the statistics, when Tfue joined FaZe, his subscriber count went through the roof. Literal pop, one of the biggest pops we've seen. He quickly overtook Ninja as the most popular streamer.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's way bigger than Ninja right now. And it's been uphill from there. And I can understand why Tfue wants out of this contract because he wants 100-0 towards Tfue and not 80-20 towards FaZe. He wants the freedom because he's bigger than Fortnite. He's a streamer. He's a personality. He's a content creator. Yeah. And that's the biggest things. Like they don't want to be put into these niche markets that they're just tied to this video game. Look at Shroud. Shroud doesn't play just Fortnite. He doesn't play just CSGO. He plays anything he wants to. And that plays to the allure of watching Shroud or investing your money in Shroud. You're going to see him make content playing video games. And Tfue can't do that currently because he's getting paid to play Fortnite. So, and another thing was he tried claiming that Faze was making him underage drink and gamble.
Oh, Jesus.
And
How old is he?
He's 21, 22, about our age.
How long has he been in the contract for him to say
I think
that
since he was 20. However, he's taking that out of the lawsuit because his background was actually, he was popular before he did streaming.
Mm-hmm.
He did like stunts and all that. I forget what his stable was with his brothers and all that, but they used to do like they were stunt YouTubers. They did activities and all that. And then they tried the Faze Banks, their leader, Clout Gang, whatever you want to call him. He was
Clout Gang,
yeah. He was
Gamer
pretty vocal in all of this, pretty much calling out Tfue, saying he was blindsided. And everybody thought originally that people were taking Tfue's winnings from tournaments and all that, which wasn't the case. They took nothing of that from Tfue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the bigger part of this whole ordeal is that Tfue just doesn't want to be tied down to Faze right now.
Yeah.
Because he knows that, and if you look more at his contract, it's really restrictive. So it started off as like a 6-month deal, and then after the 6 months was over, it's extension to 36 months. Mm-hmm. Which is a long time. That could possibly outdate the game, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being a 20-year-old at the time, I guess, is when he entered the contract. Being in that to such a restrictive contract is something you quickly regret. And if you look, his salary, it was like set to be $2,000 a month.
Damn.
Yeah. And that's without taxes. Taxes come in, that's even more. And then they tried saying that Faze Clan was trying to be a talent agency, which I guess that's a little ambiguous. So I don't know how that will hold up. But I just hope Tfue gets out of that whole contract because, and if he was to do public appearances, anything, that's a 50-50 split. 50% goes to Faze, 50% goes to him.
It sounds like he didn't read his contract.
Yeah.
It sounds like Faze kind of gave him the contract, was like sign on the dotted line.
Well, that's the thing. Faze also realized, and this is their claim, they realized that they didn't have a good contract because it was more tailored to CSGO and lesser of PL sports.
Yeah.
So they tried to reconstruct the contract, and Tfue didn't. His representatives didn't make an effort to reach out, and they eventually stopped talking. Mm-hmm. So they mentioned, I know there's a video Faze posted. They were saying that they were going to offer him 6-figure contract, 6-figure payments, less restrictive of endorsement situations. He just stopped. So it's looking actually to me like Tfue purely used Faze for the exposure, which is such a smart idea. Because if you want to join a team, you're not going to join Team Envy. You're not going to join. Well, you could join Optic, but they're not really like streamers. But you're going to join a content creator community like Faze because those guys are nuts. Like they've been popular forever.
Oh yeah.
So that's my word on Tfue. Tfue is all out like suing Faze over this. Like when this goes to court, this is going to be big in the esports community. And then one of the goals stated in the lawsuit was that we hope to break barriers and shift power more to the content creator versus the endorsement team, which is perfectly understandable.
Yeah, I completely endorse that too. like, you know, there have been multiple times in like YouTube history where like
hopefully that shakes YouTube up.
Well, like at least in the YouTube community where like
esports,
where like an overarching company that owns a bunch of all these other channels,
Team 10.
well, they get a bit greedy. Like, for example, you know, this is an ancient YouTuber at this point, but Ray William Johnson, when he was still with them.
Oh boy.
Well, he was with Maker Studio, which kind of really skyrocketed him. Like he had Snoop Dogg in the show and shit. Like it was good shit, but like it ended up like
they had a pretty funny stable.
Yeah, well, they were evidently like taking a lot of money from him. They wanted 90% of his channel, essentially.
Jesus. What?
And that's a lot. Like, and he tried getting out of it. That's what ultimately ended up with Your Favorite Martian getting shut down. Well, I loved Your Favorite Martian when I was in high school. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of waned in more at the end because they were trying to make a song every 2 weeks, which is just not something you should do.
One last thing I want to add on before we segue to the next thing is that if Faze were to terminate his contract in a firing manner, they reserved the right to prohibit him from playing video games of any kind for 6 months if it's viewed in a public setting for tournaments or streamed. So or online play.
He got himself in a really shitty.
He's definitely got the. That's why he's trying to say that that they breached contract by withholding upwards of 60, like a good amount of money from him over endorsements. So if that holds true,
it'll fall out because his lawyers are gonna fight for him.
The lawyers are claiming they have a stake, and I think they definitely have a case against it. I think Tfue could definitely hold something. But I know for any information for those of you watching, definitely watch the video that the Score Esports did. Colin McNeil is their presenter. He did 2 very good videos on the state of this whole lawsuit right now. And that's the majority of my information on this comes from that. So
yeah, shout
out to Score Esports. That's definitely where you're going to want to go for way more information on this. But wanted to give you guys the updates.
My one question is, where does Pro Jared fit with this?
Pro Jared?
No.
He doesn't.
No.
So
no.
You saw Pro Jared's penis.
No.
Do you guys hear about that? Pro Jared? We don't want to talk about Pro Jared?
He's canceled.
Mike?
Can't.
Why can't we talk about Pro Jared?
Because we got to talk about Jake Paul.
We got to talk about Jake Paul.
Look, all I have to say is that I saw the Pro Jared subreddit went completely fucking ballistic. The profile picture of it is the face he made during his nude.
Mike, I'm just gonna say
the description says Jared cheated on his wife.
Mike.
Yes.
I'm begging you to stop.
That
is such a clusterfuck and such a public clusterfuck. I refuse. I refuse to talk about it.
People don't even talk about that now. Because he's just been.
Well, they had
people
James
have completely written him off. At this point.
Can we please talk about why Jake Paul?
Look, I just want to say one thing. Please. I saw a meme of Cap at the end of Spider-Man, where he's like, "So you waited till the end of the movie, where it was Cap. It was like, so you saw Pro Jared's penis, yeah.
Stop it,
please.
Stop it.
We're both cringing, Mike.
Stop it. I don't want to talk about Pro Jared.
You what?
You want to talk about
this? Why is Jake Paul a dummy?
Why don't want to talk about Pro Jared's penis?
Shut up!
Why don't you want to talk about Pro Jared's penis? It looks weird.
I don't want to throw anything in your household.
That's fine. Anyway, so Jake Paul, unless you've been living under a rock, there's 3 people that play a big part in this story. Cody Ko, Jeff Wittick, and Jake Paul.
I only know one of them.
Okay.
I only know one asshole, but that's because he's related to.
Is that a dead body?
Guy.
So
yeah.
Cody Ko is part of a stable called Tiny Meat Gang. It's him and this guy called
Tiny Meat Gang.
Yeah, it's actually it's
Pro Jared
ironic.
doesn't have a tiny meat.
What?
Pro Jared doesn't have a tiny meat.
I swear to God, Marcucci, I will leave.
Dude. I'm sorry. God, there you go.
Okay.
Anyway,
I will dump
so it's him and Noel Miller, and his claim to fame is I think he started off on Vine, and then he shifted to YouTube and became a commentator YouTuber. So what he does is he basically just picks on people, and it's not in a lighthearted manner. I've watched a shit ton of his videos. Nothing is ever like that serious to where he's telling people to go like kill himself. And he's very known for being very critical on Jake Paul. Like, he fries the Paul brothers in general. Like, he's always going after them, making videos about them. And Jake Paul took exception to this. And Jake Paul's obviously mad about it, so he wanted to confront him. And the first time I heard about how Jake Paul's really pissed at Cody is on a program called Jeff's Barbershop, which is run by this guy, Jeff Wittick, who's in David Dobrik. You never heard of Dave? Wow. I'm actually...
Yeah, I'm a little like... In regards to the YouTube community, I'm really in my niche.
Wow, I'm actually shocked. Well, David Dobrik is like beyond YouTube at this point. However, he's one of David Dobrik's best friends, Jeff Wittick, and he runs this program called Jeff Barbershop. It's kind of like he plays a character where it's like himself, but it's a more like sociopathic version, and it's like really funny because the way he carries himself is just like an asshole. And it's really funny. And it's like a roast. It's like a roast podcast. It's like a roast podcast. Like he roasts his guests. He like makes jokes and gives them a haircut. A good one. Like actually a good haircut.
That's not
It's
a bad
really good concept,
setup
and
for
it's
a show,
really
no.
entertaining. It separates him from the Vlog Squad a little bit.
Yeah,
which is-
that and like shows like Hot Ones and stuff. That's like
Yeah.
like
it's a good
Yeah,
concept,
yeah.
it's a
right?
good take on interviews
Exactly.
and stuff.
So Cody Ko was Jeff Wittick's most recent guest.
Yeah.
And Jeff wanted to up his subscribers and kind of cause a scene. So he's also friends with Jake Paul. He's very good friends with Jake Paul. Because Jeff at one point was going to be in Team 10, but he didn't want to be in it because he kind of wanted to do his own thing. And then he ended up joining the Vlog Squad anyway. So his idea was he knew Jake Paul was mad at Cody. So he invited Jake Paul to be on the show the same day as Cody was. So what happened was Cody's getting his hair cut. They're about wrapping up. They've asked him questions about Jake Paul already. He's addressed it like, I'm making fun of Jake Paul because everyone else does. Like, the kid does stupid stuff. Who's not going to call him out on it? Which is true. If you're going to be the embodiment of what is wrong in the YouTube community, you're going to get called out on it. And then Jake Paul has tried calling him out, calling him a bully because he made fun of Jake Paul and other people, because that's a claim to fame. That's what Cody does. He kind of pokes fun at people's videos. But it's been well established that people he would make fun of, don't take it to heart. There's Dre Drexler is one of the guys he made fun of. Dre Drexler DM'd him after he made fun of him. It's like, yo, your video was hilarious. Like, the general concept is that
That's kinda
you don't
like-
take...
That's kind of like H3 because they kind of do the same thing. Well, because recently they made fun of they made fun of Logan Paul because he did that thing where it was an ad for a website where it was basically gambling. I forget the entire pretext to it, but he kind of made fun of it. And although Ethan Klein was a bit more on the side of he was completely serious in what he was saying in it, because he was making fun of him. He was basically calling them out for advertising gambling to their mostly kid audience. And then Jake Paul was or Logan, I think it was Logan, who was like, great video, man, I really enjoyed it. He was like, I was making fun of you. I was trying call you out. He was like, yeah, man, awesome video.
Yeah, well, the one thing that differentiates Cody is because Cody doesn't want any drama. He acknowledges that the majority of his videos get demonetized.
Yeah.
But he just wants it to entertain people, which isn't understandable. He tours and all that with his comedy stable. And that's, I guess, where the majority of his revenue comes from, which is very respectable because it's a way it's an interesting way YouTube is used as a platform.
Yeah.
That you can use expletives like Cody does, and you're going to get demonetized. But if that's your humor that you market, you're going to get quite a following, which he has. So Jake Paul busts into this whole interview process. He kind of goes up to Cody, who's sitting in the barber chair. Cody gets up because he thinks Jake's going to beat him up. I'll show you the clip after we're done. I'll show you everything because it's actually really good. And he's like, yo, I don't want any trouble. Cody's like, yo, what's up? But I don't want any trouble. And he's like, it's really awkward. He's like, you bully kids. And he goes, his reaction's exactly. And he goes, but his reaction's priceless. He goes, kids? Which kids? And from there, he's just like, nah, you just bully kids. He just calls him a bully over and over. And he goes you make no sense. And immediately Jake Paul makes himself look like a fool. And the way Jeff Wittick,
most of the time,
the way he edits this video is just yo, if this kid tries anything, I'm fuck him up. I'm not going to deal with this shit. And then he pretty much edits everything that Jake Paul had to say out, except, you bully kids part. And he added a little joke. He's like, yo, if I have a party, can I come? And he's like, yeah, but can Cody come? And he's like, fuck no, he can't come. Which is I thought that was pretty entertaining. Yeah. So then Jake Paul makes a video going at Cody Ko, revealing all of the footage that was in Jeff's. And then why he was mad at Cody. And it holds no grounds. If you haven't seen the video, watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about. He's playing Cody's videos. So the one thing he did is he went after Cody for making fun of Logan.
Yeah.
So this was right before Everyday Bro. This is actually right when Everyday Bro came out. And he was making a video on Everyday Bro.
Oh, so this was a while ago then.
This was a while ago. He was holding up hate. No. This happened now. This Jake Paul thing happened now, but it was over something that happened in like 2018.
No, it had to be longer than that.
Everyday Bro was like one of the most
Everyday Bro
disliked
came out
videos
last year.
right now.
Was it last year?
Brianna, was Everyday Bro out last year or 2 years ago?
It had to be longer than that.
2?
Yeah.
London.
2 years ago.
What is the line? London is my country, or something.
London is my city. No, Britain is my city.
Oh,
Nick Crompton. What?
Oh, England is my.
England is my city.
England is my city.
But anyway, I digress.
Gold.
I digress. So, in the video before Everyday Bro was posted, Logan Paul did a music video about some shit, and he dressed up as a minion. Which at the time,
Was this when he was still
minions were
setting?
very-
Was this when he was still setting fires to stuff in his pool and was
I
getting?
think this
like-
is when he was still popular. Logan Paul was.
That was 2 years ago.
But anyway, he made a video, and Cody Ko made a remark that was like, "Man, I don't know who made this call, but why would you choose to dress up as the most hated thing? I don't know I don't know who the fuck made that call." And then Jake pauses his part, and he's like, "See, I don't know how somebody could be filled with so much hate."
It's a fucking minion.
Exactly, you're telling it like it is, right? So that's why Jake Paul's like, and pretty much the rest of his video goes as such.
Literally, the only people that like minions are middle-aged moms and the kids that are like the demographic. For
That's
it.
exactly what he says. That's the best part of that Cody Ko video is that he pretty much acknowledges what you just said.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck made that call? And then he proceeds to make fun of Everyday Bro, but Jake Paul's part. And
Yeah.
it's really funny video. And then he continues to go after Jake Paul's diss tracks, like the one he did on Teachers. He goes after that one.
Teachers, as in the profession, or
Yes.
teachers?
The profession.
Why did you go off the Teachers?
Jake Paul made a diss track on Teachers. Yeah.
Why? Why? Like, what's the point in that?
No clue.
Is it just
But
to
he
ruffle
tries.
Jimmy's?
Exactly.
Was the next one on Orphans?
But
or-
I'm just trying to say that Cody has roasted the shit out of Jake Paul. Like, he's well done. He's well done. So Jake Paul in this new video he posted is just saying how Cody Ko is such a bully. He makes kids cry. He's spreading all this hate. And then a British YouTuber by the name of Will and E made a whole video on this too. And it's really getting blown out of proportion. Now everybody is
I'm just like holding my head. I'm just like, what a fucking dumpster.
exactly. Everybody's bagging on Jake Paul for the right reason because he's acknowledging his videos like I'm no hero, and everybody's like, bitch, no one said you were. Like you have a history of being one of the most polarizing figures in YouTube
Real quick.
being a bully.
Real quick, who's the older one, Jake or Logan?
Logan.
So this is about Logan or Jake?
It's about Jake.
Okay.
But Jake
Jake
is
is
known for
suicide
being
forest,
one of the
right?
biggest bullies.
Jake is suicide forest, right?
No, that's Logan.
Logan's
Really?
suicide forest.
I thought that was Jake.
Logan
No.
was suicide.
Jake is the one that made fun of the people he employed, and his dad would abuse the talent.
Yeah.
But long story short, Jake is dumb because in this instance, he's not even trying to acknowledge that, he's not bad. He's forgetting all of his sins.
Yeah.
And the internet won't let him forget it. The internet is literally like, as he slams Cody Ko, the internet is and Cody Ko's no saint. Like, he makes fun of people.
Uh-huh.
It's clear, like, there's some things, all right, you can tail back on some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But Jake Paul's making it seem like that what he's done is just completely unforgettable. And then everyone's just like, dude, you're terrible. Like, you're a terrible person. It's in history. Like, we're not going to bag on the guy for telling it like it is. Like, you're an asshole and a douchebag. And I'll show you guys the videos later so you can get a better context. They're really hilarious.
You see, what it all boils down to is that they might actually not really believe in the drama that they're peddling, and they're just trying to keep their heads above water and the ever-changing scope that's YouTube and the constantly changing internet that has an attention span like smaller than a fish.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm sorry.
You want to know the
It's
saddest
pathetic.
part of this? Jeff Wittick originally had Jake Paul and Cody on that show together. This way he could get a higher sub count.
yeah,
did
that's
it
what
as a
all
free
it is.
endorsement.
Like, it's just
Exactly.
it's
Which, like,
See,
come on,
that's why
Jeff.
I
You don't got to
try-
be a snake. Like, Jeff, you don't got to be a snake.
I try to sway, like, I try to keep away from that
I do.
part of YouTube. Like,
I do.
because like
I'm
the
sorry.
whole drama, like that's all what YouTube is now. It's just drama. People, it's just like it's like MTV, like MTV during when we were like in middle school when we had like the Jersey Shore and shit going on. Like that's what like kind of it is now. That's for kids now. That's what what's going on YouTube. The people that are like paying attention to Logan Paul and stuff like that. That for kids now is what we had as the Jersey Shore, caring about their whole drama and shit that's going on. Like when Snooki got punched, everyone gave a shit. Like actually, I just watched. I've been recently watching all of Eric Andre, the Eric Andre show. I love that show. And shout out to Eric Andre. But like, they did one with DJ Pauly D.
Yeah,
and so they're all sitting around. DJ Pauly D's like sitting there, and he's like. And they play a game with him. They're like, guess that actor, and they tie a blind around him. And the musician, the guy on the saxophone and Eric's the show's band takes out a hot dog that was in boiling water, comes over and wipes it across his face, and he's like, "That's a hot dog." He's like, "Hey, it's a hot dog." So they cut the commercial. They come back. They cut the commercial. They come back, and Eric's just sitting there, mind you. So I've read up about how Eric Andre shoots the shows. He keeps the studio at like 95 degrees. He goes off the fact that he knows that people that come on the show are not going to research it beforehand. So he tells them nothing about what's going to happen. So they think they're coming out to an actual show. So and it's usually like an hour worth of footage that they cut down over like because the show's only 10 minutes long. So they cut it down, and each person that comes out there is usually only on the show for like 2 minutes. But anyway, so they're just sitting out there, and Eric Andre, this is a complete segue from your story. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I said my piece on it.
So they're just sitting there, and then like Eric Andre is like, I saw my dad's butthole once. And DJ Pauly D is like, for real? That's fucked up. And then he's like, my next guest, DJ Pauly D. And Pauly D is like, what's up? And then they have another guy dressed up as Pauly D come out and sit next to him. And then they had both people for Eric Andre and Hannibal Buress come over, and they're all like just standing there, and they're both like copying each other. And then they're all just doing random shit. And then Eric Andre ends it with him pulling down his pants, going, "I was born a lady."
Jesus Christ.
And Pauly's like, I can't do this. Like that's no, don't do that. Don't.
It's so bad.
Yeah, Jake Paul just doesn't know what he does. Like he's gotta stop acting like everybody's still gonna like him when really just take an L and forget about it. Because you're going after somebody that didn't have to say anything and made you look like an idiot. So Jake Paul's a dummy.
Yeah, but back to Pro Jared.
No,
Mike,
skip.
please.
Nope.
I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about this afterwards. I don't. It's just you don't. There's more stuff
About Pro Jared?
Yeah, that I don't want to. I don't. It's the reason I don't want to.
Yeah, I know it's a beehive, but it's just the meme of it. Like
I know the meme
really
of it.
had.
But it's just like, oh my god.
I kind of do live with some internet drama because it's really funny with the memes that are made about it.
Yeah,
especially
right.
Pro Jared.
It's just
Pro Jared. His whole shit was on blast, but my voice is cracked.
good.
But anyway,
good
okay.
because we can segue into Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
I was hoping to talk about this because it's just like I saw the first episode because I gotta watch the rest of it. You're right. It is underrated. It should be brought, but because it's on a fucking YouTube contract, no one's talking about it. It should be talked about.
It's very good.
It is really good.
Season 1 got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Season 2 got an 85.
Because the concept is great. It's just something that's just like, yeah.
Is Johnny Lawrence really that bad of a guy?
Yeah.
No. We don't. I mean, find out in the TV show.
So what is Cobra Kai? I'm not familiar.
So, did you ever watch Karate Kid?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an extension of that.
So it's basically Karate Kid like 20 years later. 20 years later?
Just about.
About 20 years later. Johnny Lawrence, the fucking blonde kid that fights
From the first movie.
whatchamacallit?
I've
Daniel
never actually seen the first Karate Kid.
I said, have you
Really?
seen Karate Kid?
Oh, well,
Jesus.
Not,
Are you okay?
not the Jaden Smith one.
no, I didn't see that either.
Okay. All right. So it's basically that 20 years later.
So what happened is YouTube bought all the rights to the Karate Kid franchise.
Really?
And they used everything to build the basis of this new TV series called Cobra Kai. So pretty much Johnny Lawrence is washed up. It's clear that, he peaked in high school, I guess.
Yeah, one of those guys.
And then on the other hand, Daniel LaRusso is successful and his face is on billboards everywhere. And Johnny Lawrence just...
Daniel Russo was the main character, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But the way the show portrays Johnny Lawrence is he was never a bad kid. And that it actually paints Daniel LaRusso a little bit as an antagonist looking back. Like in hindsight, he was an antagonist.
Yeah, I've heard that like, if you really think about it, like, the Karate Kid, like, the bully, like, person they paint as the bully wasn't actually the bully. But that's... Johnny
Lawrence wasn't a bully.
Yeah.
He was... It was more like he was like him and that girl in the movie were together for 2 years before Daniel LaRusso came in.
Yeah.
And he was trying to save their relationship, and here comes Daniel LaRusso. And a lot of fault can be placed on the girl in the movie too, but that's a whole different story.
I can't believe they dive into that. I gotta watch this show.
Yeah. But Cobra Kai is very good. But first and second episode are the first and second season, really good. Already been renewed for a third season. Season 2 ends in a big cliffhanger. It's awesome. Like you can binge that show and have so much fun.
So what is the general synopsis of it though? Like why is he going back into karate? Is that
Johnny? So Johnny meets a kid named Miguel who gets bullied in school, and Johnny kind of feels bad for him, so he takes him under his wing and teaches him a little bit karate.
So Creed of sorts.
Sorta. However, Johnny, it'd be like if Ivan Drago kind of taught somebody to box, and it was
if Ivan Drago and Rocky
Clubber Lang. Let's put Clubber Lang.
Yeah,
because Ivan Drago was an asshole, but
so was
Mr. T gave him respect in the end. Ivan Drago didn't really.
Mr. T didn't give him respect at the end of that. He got knocked the fuck out.
I thought he.
No.
Fuck. All right.
No.
Forget what I
Ivan
said.
Drago was the one that gave him respect.
Let me go back.
Okay. All right.
I'm not as big of a fan of Rocky as I was a Karate Kid. So,
all right, fair
excuse
enough.
me on that
I
one.
was a former.
So,
or latter.
He reopens the Cobra Kai dojo in some shoddy plaza, and then he starts recruiting people. And then, finally, the big tournament comes around. He enters somebody, and then I'm not going to spoil anything else, but it's kind of like a rematch of sorts of the all Valley karate tournament, and he's trying to win it again to fulfill. It's kind of proved it's like a coming of age story for him for that first season, and the whole season's filled with a bunch of rising and falling action. It's really good. But I don't want to spoil too much because I could easily spoil a lot of the
just
show.
a general show out to the show and then
Good
recommendation. Show. Yeah.
All right. So
I definitely would be into it if I've seen The Karate Kid, but unfortunately I think the main reason I don't see a lot of movies is because it's not free and at my ready accessibility like it is on Amazon or like Netflix.
It's on, we'll
I have YouTube Premium if you ever would like to watch it together.
You actually bought into that?
I did. It's worth it. I'd say it's worth it.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So it's the return of, and I hope you can put Big Iron again over it, Ranger Mungee's classic Cowboy Real review. And I got it right. I did not stutter that up.
Oh, yeah.
Ruby Red Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers.
Yes. Of Red Dead Redemption 2. So the big patch came out last week.
Yes, it did.
Finally added poker. I gotta say, I am a fan because I have yet to lose a match. Or I've yet to leave a match with less money than I came in. Because I play poker, so it's just like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing, but then I realized I've never played poker.
We'll do a match. I got to teach you how to play.
Oh, yeah,
it's not that hard. I mean, I also played oh my god, Poker Night that was on Steam. Poker Night and Poker Night 2 of like big game characters that play poker. I played that forever, so I have like experience in like the game aspect, and I played real poker.
Yeah.
Big fan. The problem is with the big patch came, I kept getting dropped. I consistently get dropped.
I've been having that issue too.
But what happened I had a very, and I had it to save. I got to find out how to add my footage onto the actual page because I wanted to share it. I had a very like ASMR experience playing Red Dead, where it was just like I was riding around and I was just like, oh, there's an enemy camp, and I like snuck around and I was pinned to a tree and I was just like looking. I was just like, man, this is really good. Like I had like a good feeling, just like, and I had a shootout.
Yeah.
And I had people like shooting my tree and I moved to cover. It's just like, it was very authentic and it brought me back into Red Dead Online.
Yeah, I had a similar experience too. I was fishing and then like the sun started to set and like it was really peaceful. You could hear the crickets and stuff. And
Fishing was very peaceful. And then I had another one where it was just like I was riding along and a wagon train got ambushed and it's just like they circled the wagons and it's just like all these horses flying around and I'm riding around and I was like, I went into it. Went into the middle of the circle, got cover, and just shot.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Man, that is fucking yeehaw.
Yeah.
So far, they gotta work. It's just like I keep getting dropped, and it's not internet connection because I get another notification. It's a Rockstar server connection issue.
Yeah, I've been having that too, and like it's just not. I don't think that Red Dead 2 was. I don't think the PS4 was ready for Red Dead 2 because I have issues with every time you go into a town, frames drop like it's nothing.
No, they still do.
They plummet.
The more you think of it, maybe the PS4 wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
What about Xbox One?
I've been only playing on PlayStation 4. I don't know if
Xbox would have. I think this is a generational console thing. Like I bet the PS5 or the PS Pro doesn't have this issue.
Like I have a big feeling that like once it comes out on PC, I'm probably going to migrate over there. Because playing, like, I was walking through Valentine and, like, my frames are dropping like it's nothing. On top of the fact that the internet, they haven't been able to fix, like, encountering other players in the game because you see them floating around like they're nothing. And, like, on top of the frames dropping, seeing people float on their horse.
What they can do for me, and it would be a big favor to me, so I can play with my friends in a less jumpy setting and bring back private sessions.
Yeah.
So I can hunt and play with my friends.
It's weird that they took that away because even GTA had.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, they'll bring it back. It has to be another patch to have private sessions because they keep having this problem in past generation consoles. And I guarantee you, PS Pro consoles are having the same problem because they're playing with other players.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's basically my review in a nutshell. I love the fact that I can use my free gold. I basically have yet to work for any of my weapons. I only work to buy a new horse.
Yeah, I've
Shout
actually.
out to Amric, you're a good boy.
I've actually redesigned my character's look and stuff just purely out of gold.
So what bothers me too is I can't redesign my character. My character looks like a fat Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I remember.
And it bothers me because I can't go back to edit it.
Yeah, and I think it still needs work. Like they've come a long way, but like so far, Mungie and I haven't been able to play a session together, and like I've been playing by myself, and like I'll do something, and I'll be like, that was fun, I guess.
I guarantee you, if we play together, we're gonna keep dropping. Yeah. Every time I've played. I've dropped on my own. I've had Jesus, I'm sorry. I've had people when I've tried to join, like even in poker, I keep getting dropped.
Yeah, it's Rockstar servers, which is kind of shitty because
but at least if I drop in poker, I kept my money, so it's just like
yeah. I don't know.
The best feeling in the world is knowing I had a good hand. And I'm just like, this guy's going all in. And I'm just like, there's no way. There's no way he has it. I'm just like, he fucking lost everything. Sucks to be you. Just like kidding them.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm ready to replay the single player yet. So I think I'm still going to stay away from Red Dead for a bit.
Well, I have 150 in single alone. I wouldn't mind going back.
It takes me a while before I want to go back to some games. Like I'm thinking about playing God of War again, but
I told you I played God of War New Plus again, but
I probably want to play New Plus because having the what are they? What of Chaos Blades of
They
Chaos.
get Blades of Chaos and New Plus.
Yeah, because that's a big thing for Kratos' character.
It doesn't
too,
make
and
sense. I was
is-
just like, oh, I guess I'll get the. There's no way they'll have the Blades of Chaos and New Plus, even though that's all your gear. And I'm just like, that makes no sense. It
Yeah.
makes no sense that I have that right away.
Yeah, but anyway. Okay, so let's move on to
Once Upon a Time in Mungewood.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm really proud of that.
Did you think hard about it?
Yes. Because I was going to do Holly Munge, but I thought Mungewood was better.
Yeah, I like Mungewood.
What about Once a Mungie in Hollywood?
Once Upon a Munge in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh, that was better. Yeah. All right. So the new trailer dropped for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is Quentin Tarantino's 9th. And
Is this the first trailer?
Second. The first trailer was like a minute and a half.
Okay.
This one's like a full 2:30.
Yeah.
This is Tarantino's 9th and rumored last film.
He's not going to round it up to 10?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Well, what he's
I don't
doing,
think
what he's
this is-
doing now is he actually released on Netflix a 4-part. It's the Hateful Eight split up into 4 parts
Oh, come on.
with extended footage that so far I've watched. It really adds a lot to the film.
So it
I
makes
know
the
you
movie
guys
good?
The movie was good. I don't want to get into an argument about that.
He stunk.
I personally, that probably wasn't my favorite out of all the
It to
Tarantino
me
movies.
because the aesthetic was good. I saw it in a format that
Well, yeah,
really
you saw
brought-
it in an aesthetic way that really enhanced.
I saw it in a
overall.
way. They did the original 7mm roadshow format, which had an intro, an overture, an intermission, and it was just like it really brought this aesthetic that I was really watching this film in the 60s, the 70s, like the golden age of westerns.
He'll just never be able to top Pulp Fiction.
Oh my God, there's so much after Pulp Fiction, Mike.
He'll never be able to top
Django,
I like Django.
Inglourious
But
Bastards.
personally, I think Pulp Fiction is
Come
my
on.
favorite as well.
So you're gonna
Kill
you're
Bill.
gonna put them on a same pedestal as Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
I'll
Respect
give
his
you
work.
Django.
I
'Cause
love his
Django was a
work.
great movie, but I don't know.
Oh Jesus.
Call me a Tarantino.
Well, now that I
critic.
realize
I'm
that
not
this
his
is-
biggest fan. I'll be dead honest.
This is Leo's second.
This is Leo's second film.
I didn't realize. I
This is
completely
Brad
forgot
Pitt's
he was in
second.
Django.
This is also Brad Pitt's second film.
What else was he in?
Brad Pitt and Glorious Bastards.
That's right. Yes, he was.
Lieutenant Aldo.
Glorious Bastards. That was a great movie.
Yeah. Lieutenant
I'll
Aldo
give you
Rain. And I need me 8 soldiers. Okay.
That movie was actually really, really good.
I get-
100 Nazi scalps.
And I want my scalps.
Yeah.
Take it from the heads of 100 dead Nazis, or you will die trying. I can quote that whole film.
It's a good movie.
Impressive.
You don't need to be Stonewall Jackson. No, you don't need to go fighting in the basement. All right. All right. So this is Tarantino's 9th, rumors last film. It's actually the only one I think, or not the only one. It's the closest one to a real story. It involves-
well, so you mean true to life, like
True
an
to
action,
life.
like a
He
fictional
made Kill Bill.
Kill Bill? Yeah.
He made Kill Bill too.
Yeah.
Was Kill Bill was right after Pulp Fiction, wasn't it? Pulp Fiction was his first,
No, Reservoir Dogs was his first.
right? Okay.
Yeah, forgetting
You mean
Reservoir,
Reservoir
Dogs.
Dogs?
Jesus Christ,
God
sis!
damn.
Don't like you're criticizing.
Maybe he is good. God damn.
Ah.
maybe I'm
Oh,
wrong.
that's a big oof. Okay, can we keep
You're wrong.
going?
You're wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
Can we keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
My personal opinion is like, if he does it, this is going to be very gory. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Yeah, well,
Family Murders.
that's the thing. Like,
Sharon
so
Tate's in it.
I understand, but like,
No fucking way. Sharon Tate's in it.
Like Sharon Tate, the actress in the Manson Family Murders.
No fucking way.
Yeah, she's played by Margaret Robbins.
oh yeah, no, this movie's about Charlie
No,
Manson's
I know. I was
Hollywood.
joking.
Okay,
Oh, you're a
Just be an
jackass.
asshole.
but
Okay.
I don't know how much. So
So
because
if
the
you
movie,
don't know about the Manson murders, I'm just saying that Sharon Tate was an actress who was
Yeah.
murdered.
Oh,
by
she had a baby-
brutally murdered.
she
by
had
the
her
Manson
baby ripped
family.
out. Like,
Yeah, at 8 months pregnant.
yeah.
Roman
so,
Polanski. Right?
Yes,
but
that's why I'm thinking. I'm just like, if he does do it,
it's going to get to the Tarantino. You're going to get the
first of all, it's
Tarantino
gonna get the
experience.
Tarantino thing. I don't know. It's like I already know what's going to happen. So the question is, is he going to use that suspense to not show it, or use that as suspense to make it like the worst thing imaginable.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
don't
his
know
last
because
film, why not?
well, here's the thing, because the movie is not explicitly about Charlie
Yeah,
Manson.
and he does state
it's
that.
about Leo DiCaprio's character. He's a washed-up actor, and Brad Pitt's his stuntman whose career is actually starting to take off. So it's kind of like that duality between those two.
So it's kind of like A Star Is Born.
Agree, I guess.
To a degree. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I actually am excited for that movie. Then.
I really don't know how he's going to incorporate Charlie Manson because
A cult.
yeah, I mean,
It definitely epitomizes that era
So
of
Brad
Hollywood.
Pitt's character, like, he does go to the Manson family branch where they're housed at, and like one of the girls, she's like, "You're gonna love Charlie," and like, and they do show Charlie. He's the one that stands outside.
Yeah,
the
I
van
know.
and
It is
waves at
shown by
everyone.
Charlie. That's why I'm just like, this is.
Who's playing him?
It's actually not somebody we know. Not somebody we know.
Yeah, I can look up. What's up?
That movie with Hillary Duff.
Yeah, no.
No, you're thinking.
Hillary Duff's
Dakota,
making another one that's about Charlie
Dakota
Manson.
Fanning is in this too.
Who?
Dakota Fanning.
God, what's her name? She played Harley Quinn.
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. She plays Sharon Tate. But
I hope her career has taken off. She played Tonya Harding. She had a couple big roles. Harley Quinn.
she was great as Tanya Harding.
Yeah.
Like she was really good. But I have no idea what they're going to do with Manson.
That's why I'm worried. I'm not. It's not that I'm worried. It's just like whatever he does, it's going to turn heads.
Yeah.
Shit, Damian Lewis is playing Steve McQueen in this movie. That's fucking great.
Yeah, there's Bruce Lee's in it too. I mean, someone
Al
playing
Pacino,
Bruce
Martin
Lee.
Schwartz.
Who's playing
Emil
Bruce Lee?
Hirsch is in this movie? God damn. Martin Cove. Martin Cove's in it. That's
There's
the
a lot
guy
of
who
big-
plays
Who's
John Kreese.
playing Charlie?
Huh?
Who's playing Charlie Manson, does it say?
I don't think it says.
Really?
No. It might be Timothy Oliphant, Dakota Fanning, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Leo, Kurt Russell. Luke Perry's in this movie.
Yeah, it's his last movie.
Wow.
There's a scene where it's just like he's talking to like not Bruce Lee, and I died because it's just like it's typical Brad Pitt Tarantino dialogue. It just reminds me as him as Aldo.
That's impressive.
Where he's just like, my hands are lethal.
Damian
weapons.
Harriman plays Charles Manson.
What are his other credits? Let's see.
I could see it.
Yeah.
100 Bloody Acres.
That's really it. Wow.
Like I said, he is an unknown. I knew he was an unknown.
Perpetual Grace. Lamb of God. TV miniseries.
Mindhunter. Oh, he played Charlie Manson in Mindhunter. Wow. Mindhunter it's about the FBI coming up with profiling.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
it's pretty cool they got him.
Well, he played Charlie Manson before, evidently. Oh well, he's playing pre-swastika and forehead Charlie Manson to be
Jesus.
pre-race war. Well, I mean, not actually pre-race war because Sharon Tate's murder was an attempt to
Sharon
start.
Tate was literally in 1969.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was murdered
And this
in an
takes
attempt.
place in 1969, which begs the question of just like what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm excited for it.
I am too. And I'm not even a Charles. I'm definitely not a Charles Manson fan.
not.
I'm
Have
not
you ever
even
listened
a
to his
Quentin
actual music?
Tarantino fan.
Have you ever
God,
listened
fuck.
to his? Have you ever listened to Charlie Manson's actual music?
Yeah.
I heard it was. Like,
He's
good.
not bad. I mean, aside from all how horrible of a human being he is, his music wasn't.
I heard he threatened Denny Wilson from the Beatles. Not Beatles. Fuck no. Absolutely not from the Beatles. From the Beach Boys.
Yeah,
Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys.
They hung out for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got creeped out, and he's like, "Fuck, I don't want to hang out with you no more." And he's like, he kind of threatened Dennis Wilson, like he was gonna kill his kid if he didn't like help him with his music. And they're like,
Yeah, Charlie.
it was actually only
Good
Dennis
call.
that hung out with him, not the rest of the Beach Boys.
Yeah, it was just him.
Yeah, they're learning about Manson, and then from the psychological aspect, of course, I don't want to bore everybody with that. Well, not bore. It's just like you got to learn the concept of these kind of people and understand what kind of
He's a
monsters
cult
they
leader.
were. Yeah.
He was a cult leader. This is
He was viewed as a godlike figure.
But like I said,
Like all cult
I'm
leaders
excited
are.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward about it. I don't know what the runtime is yet, but
Tarantino's movies tend to run long.
2 to 2.5 hours are usually.
Let's see if it has it.
Probably not yet. It's not coming out.
Extended edition for Hateful Eight goes over 3 hours.
No, it doesn't.
2 hours and 39 minutes.
So
Yeah,
that's a
it's-
good Tarantino film. Inglourious Basterds is 2.5.
Isn't it already being done at Cannes Film Festival right now?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is
88
that
Metascore.
Tarantino's been extremely secretive
Yeah.
about how he wants this movie to.
That's why I'm
Like, he's been giving, like, every time they interviewed, like, one of the cast members, Tarantino gives the interviewer questions that he wants to be asked about the movie. And, like, when he first was asking Brad Pitt and Leo to be in the movie, he required them to come to his house so he knew for a fact that the script wouldn't get leaked. Like, he's being extremely secretive about how this movie's going to be.
Which I understand if this is going to be your magnum opus.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it, this could very well be like one of the most legendary movies ever made.
This definitely could
Not
get
even
back.
just for
This is
Tarantino.
gonna
On
turn-
top,
this is
on
gonna
top
turn
of it
some
being
heads.
on top
This
of
is
it being a love letter to Hollywood. I mean, about 1960s Hollywood, 1969 to early 70s Hollywood. Like, that's going to get a lot of attention from Hollywood itself
gonna
because
turn
Hollywood
some
loves
heads.
movies about Hollywood.
Yeah, but if he does it as like a big fuck you never know. He might.
You don't know,
Because Tarantino
and
has
how
always been snubbed at the Oscars.
well, and how he handles Sharon Tate's murder. If he does give it the Tarantino style to it and make her extremely over the top to the point that it's comedic, like the way Django was, where like people would get shot and like blood would just squirt everywhere. Like, that's where it might get to the point. There's like, okay, you're kind of taking advantage of this.
Exactly.
So you gotta
Exactly.
We'll see what happens.
Hateful Eight also had like brutal murders, but it wasn't like it was. A little
I'll
over the
compare
top.
this mostly to Inglourious Bastards because in the theater massacre scene,
That was over the top, but you felt
exactly.
Well, he was also
Because
killing Nazis, so we're not
Exactly.
like we're kind of okay with that. But
but it's the depiction of a historically fictional event that it was the way it was portrayed was like they kill Hitler. Like,
Yeah.
they did it over the
Spoiler
top,
alert.
but that was okay. That was okay because it's Hitler. If you kill Sharon Tate, who's generally seen as someone of innocence,
and Tate's family has
in a comedic manner,
Tate's family.
Well, not so much a comedic manner.
exactly.
not so much a comedic manner is that it's going to be over the top to the point that it's like, okay,
Exactly.
that's Tarantino.
That's what I mean. Tate's
Because
It will
family.
ruin his legacy.
And another thing with Django, like people like with the blood squirting everywhere, the people you were shooting were slavers. So we're like, okay, they deserved it in a way. So like,
Exactly.
and this is going to be Sharon Tate where we have to, this was a legitimate person too. I mean, Hitler obviously was in person too, but we
We don't symbolize him as such. We symbolize him as a monster.
yeah, exactly. And Sharon Tate was a human being.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
we'll see what
there's
happens.
there's no room for Tarantino to overdo this one. It's either he does it in a dramatic way or he doesn't do it at all.
Yeah, I'm more on the side that we're probably not going to see the actual murders.
The thing is though, I can't even flip flop because I don't know, and I think that he's going to use that suspense well.
Oh yeah,
But
we'll see what I'm
That's it.
really excited
very
for
excited
it. So.
for it. I'm going to see it in theaters.
We definitely need to do this together. See this movie.
Oh yeah,
I think we should do
that could be a choose your character movie that we all see together.
So my I wanted to bring up my last bit. We haven't done comic recommendations in a while. I already talked about Spider-Man's life story before. I just finished issue 3. If you guys don't know what Spider-Man life story is, it's basically Spider-Man was invented in the 60s.
Yeah.
The concept of this was, what if he started in the 60s, dealt with all the problems in the 60s, and then aged from there. Each issue is 10 years. Issue 1, him worrying about going into Vietnam. Issue 2 was him dealing with the aftermath of what everything's been going on in his life. In issue 3, he's 40 and Secret Wars started.
This is some amazing writing too.
It is. It has been amazing. It has been amazing to me because this is an aspect of Spider-Man that's very rarely shown.
However, it's very true to the Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that everyman aspect.
It gives you that
Spider-Man.
everyman aspect because it's not even with great power comes great responsibility. He's lived by that code. Mm-hmm. He's lived to be a responsible person. But the age and family have like had him address that he really doesn't know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And he's 40. He's using the symbiote suit as, because Secret Wars and all that, he's using the symbiote suit as not as a, man, this feels good to have power. It's if I don't use this, I can't be Spider-Man because I am too old to function. And I wonder what they're going to do with issue 4, because issue 4 is the 90s. He's 50. He's going to have to cope with the fact that he can't do this. I wonder what they're going to go with.
If I can elaborate on another comic book that you should be reading, Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Probably Marvel's best run right now.
Oh, another one that I've yet to read.
And then Amazing Spider-Man is very good too. The lighthearted take on it.
Another Spider-Man one, War of the Realms.
Yes.
Oh my god, it looks fucking hilarious. If you want to break from how like depressing a Spider-Man life story is, read War of the Realms, because it is so fucking funny to me that, first of all, Thor put Spider-Man in charge of the Midgard forces over Cap, which is hilarious to me in the first place. He has a Pegasus named Buttercup. That is great. And I shared that on the page too, because it's like, no, you're not. You are not hurting Buttercup, and he punches a giant.
We could do a whole episode on the importance of Spider-Man as a dramatic presence, a comedic presence, a symbolic presence.
We've talked about it. I've always talked about it.
I think Spider-Man, by far, is Marvel's biggest character. It is the one character that I believe is larger than Marvel itself.
Yep. I will say that.
It is the one that has been monetized the most.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to read a lot.
Has been licensed the most.
Well, he was the first real attempt. Well,
he was
the first real relatable superhero.
That was his whole point too.
And no one believed in that.
That's why
successful.
Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created him, because they wanted somebody to be more relatable than just some brute with superpowers flying in the sky faster than a speeding bullet, or a super soldier, or a billionaire that doubles as an exoskeleton.
I also love the other thing too, that Spider-Man's always broke in every issue that he's shown in. The best one is the one I shared that hit me right in the feels, where he's talking to Reed Richards and Sue's son, because Johnny died.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Spider-Man is talking with him and saying, beautiful. "Hey, look, kid, why don't we go get a hot dog and we'll talk about this?" Because he's like saying, like, you need to eat.
What issue is
this? I want to eat. I can't remember, but I will show. It's in the thing I shared. And the best part is it's like, this is very depressing, and it's just like a scene where he's just like at the hot dog stand and he tells the kid, is just like, "Hey, do you have $1?" And I'm just like, in every fucking issue he is. I love the fact that he is relatable, that he'll like be swinging around and then he goes home to a fridge with like 4-week-old pizza.
That was from Dan Slott's. It was from Dan Slott's 2016 run, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'll let you know.
Shout out to Dan Slott, man. What a great fucking scribe for Marvel.
Those are my recommendations. My recommendation is always going to be read Spider-Man, but if you really want an interesting take, something that's really not shown with him before, I would definitely recommend Spider-Man Life Story. It's something that's I've never read before, and somebody who's read comics before. This is something
I concur
that I'm very interested in what episode 4 or issue 4 is going to bring.
Okay.
Yeah. That was it.
Well, yeah. So do some reading. Don't go outside and
go outside and play.
Don't go outside.
It's okay. Now go to those woods.
Don't
go to that cabin.
Just
don't read the Necronomicon and you'll be fine.
I think today's lessons are: don't sum up a series in one episode. Yes. Don't go outside at night.
Go outside
don't sign any contracts with Faze Clan. Yeah. Don't make fun of Jake Paul, because he'll blast you on the internet.
And fail at doing so.
Watch Cobra Kai. Red Dead is still not up to the point that it should be.
But it's climbing.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood could be really good.
Once Upon a Munch in Hollywood.
Could be really good, or it could be a bad. But we'll see.
Once Upon a Time in Munchwood.
And Spider-Man's always poor.
Spider-Man is always poor.
So, yeah. So, thanks for...
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Godspeed, Spider-Man. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for now watching us on... and
finding out that I am
film.
the most beautiful CYC character.
2 out of 3 of us have facial hair. Sister will get there one day.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
We'll draw it on.
You're too Italian.
No, get the fuck. No.
So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with more stuff because now we actually have to come up with topics.
Oh, hey, this is the first episode that would have happened. Shout out to Brendan.
Shout out to Brendan.
Oh yeah, here's another one.
Can't wait for you to come back next month, man.
Yeah, safe travels. Have fun with the rest of your time in China.
Here's another thing. Tommy Wiseau. Okay.
Okay,
right, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And so next episode, we're actually going to have to come up with relevant topics since we can't talk about Game of Thrones or Endgame anymore. We won't actually have... I personally said I can't be upset about it. I can be upset about a Game of Thrones until Star Wars comes out. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching again.
And I'm Mike.
Hi, you're funny. I'm Marcucci.
And I'm employed.
It's not funny.
That is fun.
My business card.
Okay. But I'm Marcucci. We're on episode 7. You guys still can't do your outros?
All right, for the love of God, I'm Cowboy Mungie.
I'm going last.
I'm Marcucci.
And I'm always going last.
Gotta go fast.
And who am I again?
You said you were Cowboy Mungie.
I'm Pirate Mungie.
Now
What?
we're... Okay. He's changing careers on us. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.